So we've been going through quite a process with the roofs, these cantilevered concrete elements. We wanted concrete, we wanted to be true to material, but we really wanted to play with the different textures of the concrete. So over here we've had a sandblasting application, and we pretty much blast sand with a high-powered hose onto the ceiling, and it ends up taking the top layer of the concrete off. So you can see it's quite a rough finish. And then we've done the same on these columns, just not as much. So there we've taken off maybe 2 or 3 millimeters of the top layer, and here it's slightly less. But it gives them this very textured aesthetic, and it also helps us with some of the joints because of the formwork. It helps sort of smooth out some of the joints that where you otherwise might have seen some rough lines. And then if you look at this line on the ceiling, it's going to go from the sandblasted to a very scabbled. We've got a scabbler, which is an industrial machine with these heavy metal scabbles. It's a hand application, and they'll come underneath, and that scabbler is just going to take off more than 3 or 4 millimeters of the concrete, but leave a much rougher finish. And the reason why we did that is we've put this very smooth finish on the inside of the barrel vault, which is in this bone color white. And so it's going to go contrast from the sandblast to the heavy scabble, and then to this extremely smooth barrel vault inside, which will bounce the light off from the 2 gable sides into the space. The first time we've started to strip this off, now you can see the contrast of the sandblasting, the off shutter, and how it connects with some of the other concrete up there, which is just standard off shutter concrete. So it's quite a nice play between the various finishes. It's just nice to see how it's come out. Like I always say on these sites, you think about something, you want to create it, but then you get to actually walk around and see how your vision has actually come out. So it's always interesting and always slightly nerve-wracking before you see the finished product. So this is the master bedroom over here, and you can see the pool's now finished in form. Obviously got a whole lot of finishing work to do. So the primary access to the pool is from the living areas, where there's this set of very formal stairs that lead down in this structured and very deliberate manner. But because we wanted a secondary, less formal route from the master bedroom, the landscaper designer, Carrie Latimer, has introduced this very organic, natural meandering path and these steps which are created from these natural rocks. So the landscaper has to basically resculpt all of this. This berm that you see here behind me is actually a layer of topsoil that we took from the entire site. There were so many nutrients in that layer after years of being compacted under the vineyards that we managed to retain it. Carrie has planned to spend 3 to 4 weeks on site and basically resculpturing this area. But even standing here, you can get a sense how the stairs would meander down to the pool. So it's starting to take shape. Obviously a lot of work going on around here, but we're starting to get a sense of how the landscape will work with the architecture. It's a massive cantilever of concrete. When you look back here, and we've managed to get it all with the one uniform finish now with the sandblasting. But you really can just see how dramatic the cantilevers are and how it creates this very large floating element which will basically be floating up and above the pools. And even though we can see this uniform finish now, there still are the supports. You know, we're waiting for this concrete to cure entirely before we remove everything. So there's still almost one more step to go here. When we strip all of the formwork and you're left with a single column and this massive cantilever, I think only then can you see the true effect of what we've been trying to achieve through these large cantilevered elements that sort of float above the home, forming these planes.